many Vols fans we got here? And I see some Gator chomps going on.
I'm so sick of seeing
I think we should, listen, what I'd like to do here is be able to continue to talk about the season ahead. And by the way, you guys just got a little glimpse, but how good are Marcus and Tim together talking ball, right? So that's going to be Saturday mornings for you on SEC Nation, on the SEC Network. But I'd like to include everybody here and continue the conversation and be able to talk ball with us. So we have some wireless microphones, right, folks? And if anybody would like to ask Marcus Spears or Tim Tebow or just talk football in general, and both guys can answer, please feel free to ask a question.
Well, I can put my microphone down. It was great seeing you.
I was just wondering if you guys had any, if you're seeing any strategies right now that's going to pull a team up to like surprise us, or anything that you can kind of predict about something that's going to, I don't know, surprise us.
Well, not because we're here, but the Volunteers had a great recruiting class this year. Me and Joe had time to visit with Coach Jones down in Destin at the SEC meetings. He's real excited about the guys he was able to bring in. He said his team is showing signs of expecting to win games, and that's always first. You got to have a team full of guys that believe that we can compete in this conference. This conference is hard now. It's tough to win in the SEC all across the board. So when a team does bad in the SEC, they can probably go to any other conference in America and win a bunch of games. But Butch Jones is excited about the guys. Let me tell you something. A star in the making. Just a little piece of information for you guys. Jalen Hurd is the truth.
Number one running back recruit for the Vols. I will say this, Tim, I want your thoughts on this. When you ask about surprise team or what could happen this year, I actually think the strength of the SEC is that it's so good top to bottom that the middle or towards the bottom can become the top, and the top can instantly become the bottom. Because last year Auburn goes in winless the year before. Missouri was an afterthought. But there's so much talent throughout the league that you never know on any given Saturday who can beat who.
Every single week it's so hard, and people always ask what's the difference in the SEC, and it's not in bowl games. Any team from any other conference can beat a team from the SEC. It's not on a one-game schedule who's better, but it's do you have the stamina as a team to week in and week out, go through stretches of teams like South Carolina, Georgia, Ole Miss, Kentucky, Florida, Tennessee, do you have the ability to go through those teams and play good every single week and not have a down week and physically, taking the hits and coming back week in, week out? I mean, it's the closest thing that you're going to get to the NFL physically, and that's what takes a toll on your body. So you get to week 10, 11, 12, and, physically, are you ready to handle big games at the end? And, I think it takes a huge toll on you, and that's the biggest difference in the SEC to me.
Speaking of the NFL, I'm looking at a Jets jersey here with a 15 on it. Our next question.
Wes from South Carolina. I was wondering, Tebow, what was it like winning the Heisman?
Good question, buddy. Nice to meet you, Wes. It was awesome. It was exciting. It was a dream come true to win the Heisman. It was actually kind of surreal. The whole time you're there, it just happened so fast. That season, you started playing well, and then it kind of happened, and all of a sudden you're sitting there and they call your name to win the Heisman Trophy, and that'll be with you the rest of your life, and it's pretty exciting, and it's surreal. It also adds a lot of pressure, and that was my sophomore year, so I had to play 2 more years with that, and I will say it's definitely a lot better to go to the Heisman and win than it is to lose. The next 2 years I went and I lost, so that wasn't any fun.
Tim, I kind of always, working the Heisman broadcast and being with you on those mornings when you were there, both the year you won and then afterwards, I always marvel at what it's like just even that day, because I don't think people realize we're in a tiny theater where it's very quiet and everybody's very nervous. You guys are in the green room. It's a strange situation being there in New York on that given day.
It's definitely strange, and my junior year, we were getting ready to play Oklahoma in the national championship, Wes, and I was up for the Heisman, and Sam was there, and Sam ended up winning, and so I'm sitting there, and honestly, I think it was the best thing for our team, though. because I probably had 150 texts from my teammates at Florida saying, we got your back and we're ready, we'll show them a national championship, blah, blah, blah. And that was awesome because it gave our team so much motivation. And, Heisman, it's awesome. It's something that it's definitely a dream come true, but it pales in comparison to winning a championship. And so for that season, I was very, it ended up being a blessing in disguise that I lost because, a few weeks later we got to win the national championship, and I think losing really helped our team in motivation because we were so close together that they knew me winning that Heisman Trophy wasn't about me. It was about our team and what our team did that year and the support that I had from everyone, and I think that was pretty cool.
Where do you keep your Heisman?
I think it's in my parents' home, and it's like I have 2 older sisters, and I also have 2 brothers. But it's like you can really see what's most important in the house is like my sister's wedding photos, and everything's like in front of them, like way in the back's like the Heisman, so you can barely find it. It's probably like got dust on it now.
Back of the room here. Yes, sir.
Tim, my name is Eric Filati, and I'm a Tennessee fan that thinks highly of you. And I really, you are my favorite athlete. You really are. And I want to say, first of all, I really appreciate your testimony for the Lord. It just means so much. Thank you for what you take a stand for. Thank you, and God bless you. God bless you. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your testimony. And the question is, I want to talk about that playoff game with the Steelers on January 8th, 2012. The way I remember it is, you threw for 316 yards that day. Your favorite verse, if I remember correctly, is John 3:16. That day, you threw for 316 yards, averaged 31.6 yards per completion. That was incredible. And my question is, that playoff game, the Steelers were going to be a tough team. I'm sure y'all knew that coming in. When the overtime started, what was the mindset when you got in that huddle before you threw that winning touchdown pass to Demaryius Thomas? What was going through your mind to make that happen?
Well, our goal was to change it up. I think we had 24 first downs that game so far, and every one had been a run. So it was to change it up. And our key, when you're playing the Steelers, you got to they're the #1 defense in the NFL, and you got to get ready for a lot of great players. But you really have to get ready for Troy Polamalu. You have to know where Troy is. He's all over the field. The hair's flowing, and so every play, he was my key. He's either in the middle third or he's down in quarters, and you just have to know where he's at. And I can remember I hadn't had a huge collision with him the whole game until like 5 minutes left, and we run a read option. I make someone miss, and I'm running down the sidelines, and I'm like, okay, here it is. And so, boom, we have a huge collision, and I'm falling down. And I'm actually wearing a bracelet that a girl with cancer had just given me that week, and as I'm falling, he pulls it off and breaks it. And so, I'm kind of teasing him, and I say, come on, Troy, a girl with cancer just gave me that, and you broke it. And I'm expecting him to say something that I wouldn't repeat, especially here. And he turns and he looks at me, and he says, oh, Timmy, I'm so sorry, but God bless you, man. And I was like, yeah, God bless you too, freak. Like,